Why are Genshin Impact players hated? Short answer:
Twitter, Twitter, Twitter.
Twitter, Twitter, Twitter.
Twitter, Lods!
Long answer: it's because of many factors, which we will discuss today. I've already said the short answer, so if you're satisfied with that, you can go. But if you're still interested, join me in this video on why playing Genshin Impact now gives a bad stigma. Ni hao ma bing chilling, I'm your boy Akon and the age of consent is 18. Haha, funny joke. You got the whole squad laughing. Now, disclaimer, the point of this video is to investigate as to why Genshin players are hated, and not to hate on them even more. I know I have my own negative opinions about them, but this time, I have filtered out all the hateful ones and only included the constructive ones and constructive ones with hate in them. Get with them all, boys and girls. And people who don't identify as he or she. See, boys, wow, it's a new year and I'm being progressive. Wow, I'm proud of myself. Shit. The reason for this video was a Reddit post that I kept seeing on Twitter and Discord titled, "I just got bullied really hard for being a Genshin player." And it was posted, of course, on the main subreddit for that sweet, sweet Reddit gold, baby! The summary of this is that this person went to a gamers' meetup hoping to meet like-minded friends in real life. When he or she asked what they like playing, they answered Genshin Impact, and they apparently got swarmed for minutes, making jokes about the age of consent being 18 and being called a pedo in public. Which, honestly, no matter who you are, what you stand for, I hope you don't experience this kind of thing. If it did happen, I'm sorry that I'm a little cynical gremlin, but I really doubt this happened. There's two options here. Number one, it happened, but it was extremely exaggerated to gain pity points and get that sweet, sweet Reddit gold. Or two, it didn't happen at all. I am extremely skeptical because I regularly go to anime and gaming conventions because I'm a gorilla too, and I wanna be with my gorilla brothers. So, I know for a fact, weebs are feral little shits online. But in real life, they can hardly ask for pictures with a hot cosplayer. So, this kind of public mockery, this really can't happen unless it's instigated. But it doesn't really matter in this context, they already got the Reddit gold anyways, moving on. At this point in time, everyone knows this game and how toxic it can get, so I don't think we need more details. If you play gacha games or watch anime, or hell, even if you don't watch anime, even if you don't like anime, you know the small indie company making only a few dollars a month company named MiHoYo, and the small 300 people a month player base named Genshin Impact. So why do people hate Genshin Impact players? Game-wise, gacha games are not well received by the non-weeb gamers due to how predatory gacha games are. So you pretty much have a 1-star wanted rating for playing Genshin Jinjak. Add another star for being the first gacha game to break the mainstream and reach the West. That's another star of wanted. Because it's not a AAA game by X, Y, or Z, that's another star. And then you add 2 more stars because of how bad news coverage of the game makes Genshin Jinjak one very, very polarizing gacha game gumbo. And then I asked you guys on Twitter, my community tab, and even searched the other parts of the internet, why are Genshin players hated? And why do you hate them yourselves? And here's what we got. And I really tried, okay? I really tried to find other reasons why, aside from the usual suspects. But yeah, there's no going about it, it's the usual answers. However, I didn't include answers that just completely attack the you-know-who, because that's not the point today. Thank you for participating, by the way. I'd like to do more stuff with audience, but Baka, I love you, thank you. Baka. For this person, it's mainly because Genshin is the normies' first experience with gacha. Basically what they would consider a new-gen gacha player. And because of that, they're not too familiar with free-to-play games and gacha in general. They'd make a lot of dumb takes when something changes or added, and on occasion would just ignore poor decisions made by the developer. With the usual argument of, "Oh, it's a free-to-play game, you should just be thankful it existed in a free state." as an excuse to avoid putting blame on the game itself, which I absolutely agree. Just because it's a free game doesn't mean you deserve to be mistreated. I hate them for supporting what is essentially gambling, but you never get anything back. The effective cost for some of these low effort items is insane. Like, I get the characters and stuff look good, but that's the problem. Every character is extremely handsome and relatable in a shallow way, which makes them feel like bait, because of course, you would want the extremely attractive character you low-key have an emotional attachment to, because you're lonely in real life! Yo! They are barely unique from a gameplay standpoint, it mostly boils down... Yeah, I agree. This one is so agreeable. How does a player base not get tired of the same skills plus weapon with slightly different animations? Everyone has 3 active skills and 2 passive skills, and that's pretty much it. Everyone is so wowed. Wow, this is such a new kit! Kokomi, new release, she can slap with water. Wow. I'm relatively new to Genshin. I like the game and the story, but I have to say that this game has one of the worst communities ever. Firstly, I hate how so many people are so defensive over their favorite characters. People always call each other meta slaves for not liking a meta character, or calling them bad. Ironically, these same people go to ridiculous lengths to prove their character is meta, to the point where someone went out of their way to fake their stats to make Kokomi look good. Oh yeah, I remember that! Kokomi was so bad on release without her own artifacts. And yeah. Secondly, I hate how sensitive and volatile this community is. Yeah, and to boil everything down, he hates how sensitive, whiny, and annoying the community is. He has never been in a community that takes this much enjoyment out of the game. Virtue signaling, blah blah blah, half of the fan base lives on Twitter. Yeah. There's a never-ending argument regarding character designs, apparent age of said characters, and the people who like said characters. I would like to say that it is important to point out that there are people in real life who can be under 5 feet tall and also be adults. Manlet moment. A lot of Genshin players like to complain a lot and they demand so much. The fandom is really toxic, and I honestly gave up while reading comments. The game is so beautiful, yet rather than complimenting it, they complain a lot more. Outside of Twitter, I just don't like the fact that there's a certain group in the Genshin community that goes into other games as communities and trash talk said game community players while pumping Genshin as if it's the greatest game of all time, which is a very understandable point. Think we can at least agree that Genshin is a goldmine for armpit lovers? Yeah? Just say any ship is straight and say games that are clearly better than Genshin on a popular social media and Twitter, and you will see why. A lot of the Genshin players are such spoiled kids, to be honest. Most of them probably haven't even played gacha games before. Genshin is an outright masterpiece and a very successful game in every category, which isn't. This is way too long, but basically, TLDR, kids. Genshin players make easy targets being almost universally hated, one side because Genshin Impact, more like Pedo Impact, and the other because anyone playing a game in the MMO genre must be a neckbeard. The community thirsts for power creep, they can't accept a new character being decent, it must be better than previous characters. And I really like this one. I still haven't forgotten the fact Genshin is a mobile game. So unlike the usual reworks, character reworks will rarely happen in this game. One proposal I want is Venti to be actually reworked, because right now, Kazuha is much more superior to him, in my opinion. Venti is kinda clunky now. When you hold his E, it's very unfun to use, unlike Kazuha, which is very fluid to play and fun. So, I want Venti to be reworked, and because the community thirsts for power creep, it's sending MiHoYo the go sign to, please give us more characters, MiHoYo, please drain our wallets dry, give us more relatable characters that are so barely relatable actually. They aren't even relatable. It's a very basic human trait, and these people, OMG, that's so me. Next, I'm ranting. Next. Aside from the Twitter nuclear power plant, there's also an argument that's been going on since release that I've never ever seen in most games before. The waifu lovers versus meta slaves. They are both cancer in their own way, and they seem to think their way of playing is superior and should be practiced. Usually, however, at least the waifu lovers make a point, while 99% of the meta slaves don't even know what the fuck they're talking about and making bad takes. It's just a crybaby war of, no, don't play the way they play my way. I think the reason why waifu lovers in this game is so intense, it's because of the mainstream players. I think they are projecting so hard of their mains, because if their main is weak, this main character is me, guys. I relate a lot to Yunjin. I am like Ganyu, guys. I am so bubbly and blah blah blah. I have a big butt. And if my character is weak, I am also weak in real life. So they are so projecting hard that this must be the way. But as for meta slaves, I can't really say too much about meta slaving because if I single out Genshin, it's kinda unfair. Checking for tier lists, checking for the S tiers are very normal. And I shouldn't single this one out. Personally, I dislike how the community puts the game in a pedestal like nothing is better and actively puts everything down because it can't be better than Genshin. It's the exact same problem the Full Metal Alchemist community has. They actively go and trash every other game like that makes Genshin better somehow. It's practically SAO all over again, unwanted and unneeded excess hate. And the internet just chose it to be the punching bag for some reason because they can't hold the idea of what is fiction and reality and how a minority loud as a group. I like how this was very opposite of the wave trying to defend and attack, but I disagree. Now, it's not a loud minority anymore. And I also disagree with lore being good and character very quality. But I digress. I was there during SAO's peak. Everyone having a Kirito and Asuna profile pic, anime conventions are all SAO cosplays, and all that. But I would really say Genshin is just so much worse. But then again, I do understand this point. I just sometimes think Genshin fandom is just a different breed that sometimes you ask yourself now, maybe they kinda do deserve getting shit on. There are good arguments on why Genshin players are hated, such as playing only Genshin and think it's better than all, or forcing other people to play it. But for me, it's the one that seeks validation or the attention seeker kind we see like on TikTok and make them feel good. Speaking of TikTok and attention seeking, there was a girl in the Philippines who stole a cardboard cutout of Klee in the Hoyo Fest Cafe collab last December. She openly admitted to stealing it, posted a video on TikTok going, "Ooh, quirky, I'm not returning this, God bless, ooh," obviously for attention on social media. But the good thing is, Klee was returned safely and the issue was resolved. This is still fatherless behavior regardless, and the situation would have been different if the one who stole the cutout was a fat neckbeard. So, we do live in a society, am I right? Tips Fedora. Twitter! 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 Because it's the entry point for a ton of people, it attracts the most mentally okay. Sorry, next. They try to push their stupid agendas onto you. For example, how they get mad if you say lolly and they don't even know what they're talking about most of the time. It's the West. I love Genshin as a game. Genshin is enjoyable as a whole. The fandom, however, just hella cringe because they push. Okay. They get mad over shipping, then they act unreasonable as they randomly accuse others like, "OMG, those characters are underage, are you kidding?" Even worse, most of the fandoms are so childish and ungrateful, pretty much spoiled little brats. But Genshin is toxic in its own way because all the snowflakes getting angry over genders, and yeah, honestly, those who counter the SJWs are a little bit worse sometimes. Because the fandom is a toxic mess. Could be argued that it's only a vocal minority, but after a year of only seeing the worst, I doubt that's the case. Also because gambling and such. I agree with this one and understand there's always a bad seed in every community. But as an outsider, we don't see any good seeds anymore. If you're in the community, of course you definitely have. But for us, people like me, people who are commenting this, we are outside the community, and all we see are very, very loud, obnoxious people crying for something. The minority should be changed now. It's not a loud minority anymore. The common players themselves are not hated. The ones trying so hard to spread hatred to others on social media are, like when you get scammed by many and less likely to put trust on strangers. Once you have too many bad impressions, it starts to influence your mindset, and you then assume all people in the category is similar. And this is where we are now. We can't view this game too positively anymore because of the bad impressions by both devs and player base. Every time you hear Genshin Impact, it always comes to your mind now. Toxic player base? Whiny people? Westerners forcing something? And it just ends up into a giant ball of hate. A shame, but such is life. And that's where I end that. Thank you for participating in the community posts. As much as I want to find other reasons why, the general consensus is because of Twitter and the toxic fandom spanning from shipping everyone in a homosexual relationship, people who force you to play in a certain way and think they are the right ones, first-time gacha players who think Genshin is the only game, therefore is the best game, harassing other game fanbase and voice actors, overly defensive of their characters, being not as good as many more. In the gaming part of the internet, gacha games aren't taken seriously as well. So comparing Genshin Impact to AAA games, you kinda had it coming for you. If you only play Genshin and don't feel the alienation or hate and suddenly stumbled upon this video, good for you. You are in your community filled with positivity, and maybe you should stay there. The moment you interact with people fed up with the game, or maybe like us, where we are still reasonable, but you won't expect too much positivity from us. You might find it unpleasant and you cry about it on the subreddit, which in turn will get you upvotes, which actually you should actually go do it now. Go do it now. Have fun. Get the subreddit. And those are the reasons why Genshin Impact players are hated. And I really did try my best to find other reasons, but it's pretty much the shitty community it breeds. If ever your friend asks why your Genshin players are hated, I guess here's the timestamp. Share at this point of the video, and that should summarize everything. Lamau. Thank you again for watching. Happy New Year. If Chi-Chi is dead, is it still warm down there?